Cooper Flagg is consensus #1 overall pick.
I mean, that is a bad dude. He's a generational talent.
Dylan Harper is already a great player. He's a big guard who has continued to grow throughout his high school career.
And his scoring instincts. He's a dynamic 3-level scorer and shot maker.
Score from different spots on the floor. He can score over top of smaller guards. He's an excellent rebounder.
Let's go. The 2025 NBA and college basketball seasons are here. If you followed the channel last year, you know that I made 4 different top 30 rankings, one in the preseason, midseason, end of the season, and the day before the 2024 NBA draft. Today, we are going to kickstart off that process, and I'm going to be doing my first top 30 ranking for the 2025 NBA draft. And it's funny to look back on this, and it's definitely one that's going to change a ton throughout the season. Last year, I had Isaiah Collier as my 2nd ranked prospect. He went 29th, and my 8th ranked prospect was Justin Edwards, who just went undrafted in the NBA draft. So yeah, a lot can change. So we're going to start off at #1, and then I'll give my honorable mentions at the end. We're going to start off with Cooper Flagg at Duke. Pretty much a no-brainer with this #1 guy in the class. I'm sure a lot of people, if not everybody, has Cooper Flagg as their #1 ranked prospect for the 2025 draft. He reclassified into this class, so he's going to be 17 years old at the start of this basketball season. He's going to be 18 when he starts his career in the NBA, and he's definitely one of the best defensive prospects I've ever evaluated in my couple years scouting for the draft. He has great instincts for someone that's just 17 years old. He's 6'8", but he plays longer than that, and he can chase down blocks. He can guard you on the perimeter. He can kind of do it all right now defensively, and I'm really intrigued to watch him this year at Duke guard, bigger, stronger big man, and see how he can hold up in the post. And if he could show those offensive flashes as well at the top of the key, can he develop as a playmaker, as an outside shooter? What is his three-point shot is going to look like? I think it's all going to come together, and Cooper Flagg is going to be the best player for the 2025 draft class. So coming in at #2, right behind Cooper Flagg, I don't think he's far off. It's not like it's Wemby to Scoot Henderson. I think he could be close to Cooper Flagg throughout this collegiate season, and it's Ace Bailey at Rutgers. Ace Bailey is a 6'9" wing/forward, and he already showed out in his first exhibition game against St. John's. He's somebody that can hit NBA level shots right now. He can pull up on the perimeter, off the dribble. He's got a great catch and shoot jumper. He's extremely athletic and looked great defensively in high school, and what he just did in those exhibition games. I'm really excited to watch him at Rutgers this season because he has the athleticism and the 3-level scoring potential to be a great two-way player in the NBA. One thing though I am keeping my eye on, will he show that aggression inside? Will he want to absorb contact in the paint? Because from what I've seen from him, sometimes he gets a little hesitant and he sometimes tries to avoid contact. So I want to see him be more aggressive this season and show that he can get downhill, get to the rim, and get to the free throw line. Coming in at #3, I have Ace Bailey's teammate at Rutgers, and that is going to be Dylan Harper. Harper is my top guard for this class, and he also showed out in that exhibition game as well, and I'm so excited to watch him and Ace Bailey just play together at Rutgers, just make them relevant this season. He is extremely polished right now for a guard prospect. He's 6'5", and I think he's got good combo guard potential. Somebody that can play on the ball, he can play off the ball, both on the offensive side of the floor and the defensive side of the floor. I think he navigates ball screens really well. He can get downhill, he can get to the rim, he can finish with contact inside. I would like to see the playmaking be a little bit more consistent and show that he could be a true point guard coming out of this class, because that's where I think his value could be the highest if he's a true point guard. His first step isn't that impressive, and there's a limitation on his vertical pop right now, but hey, those are things he can work around this year, and he is my preseason top guard in this class. At #4, I'm gonna have Nolan Traore playing over in France. Last year we had a ton of French international prospects, and we're still gonna have one that's most likely gonna be in the top 5 who's playing for St. Quentin over there in France, and he's definitely been inconsistent so far, but the competition is legit out there, which is gonna be great experience and practice for him before he comes over to the NBA level. Last year he struggled with his 3-point shot in France, but it's looking so much better at the start of this professional season. Last year he impressed a ton of people at the Nike Hoop Summit, and everybody was watching Nolan Traore because he showed out. He impressed a ton of people. He's a 6'3" guard that has the best court vision in this class right now, and is going to be going neck and neck with Dylan Harper as the top point guard in this class. It would have been cool if Traore was playing in the States in college basketball. We kind of had that Markelle Fultz, Lonzo Ball point guard 1 rivalry, but it's still going to be fun to compare these two prospects in Harper and Nolan Traore to be the top guard in this class this season. Coming in at my #5 spot, and this is my tier 1 of prospects right now, it's going to be VJ Edgecombe out of Baylor. VJ Edgecombe may have one of the largest variances of anybody in this top 5. He could end up as the #1 prospect in this class if he balls out this year at Baylor, but if the struggles are noticeable for the Bears, he could definitely fall outside the top 10. He's a 6'3 guard coming from Lehigh, and he has maybe the most explosive first step out of anybody in this class. He is skinny right now, but I think he's going to fill it into this body, and there are the Anthony Edwards Georgia comparisons. I do think Ant was a little bit better of a prospect coming into Georgia, but man, I could definitely see the similarities to Anthony Edwards because of his ability to be a good on-ball defender, be able to recover if somebody beats somebody, can maybe get a chase down block. I just want to see if his three-point shot is going to be consistent this year, because that could make or break him being a top 3 pick in this draft. McNeely, the 6'6 wing at UConn, and I'm definitely more excited about McNeely right now because he did commit to Indiana and then he decommitted, and he's going to be going to the best team in college basketball over the last 2 years, playing under Dan Early at UConn. He can hit shots off the dribble, catch and shoot, moving. He is one of the best shooters in this class and is going to be fighting for that crown all season long. And I just really think that Dan Early is going to optimize his fullest potential this year for the Huskies, and I think his floor is probably like the 20th pick. Like, I think he's going to be a for sure first rounder. A guy I feel like I'm higher on than most is going to come in at number 7, and that is Trey Johnson at Texas. Man, Johnson could be a super fun player this year for the Longhorns. He's a 6'5 wing at 19 years old, and he can make shots. I think his playmaking is already great for somebody with his experience. He's aggressive, he can get to the rim, and I think he also has a good looking mid-range jumper. And if you can really develop that mid-range jumper, if it's not working for you on the perimeter, or you really can't get inside because of a good rim protecting defense, having that mid-range shot that Johnson has shown potential of having can really elevate your draft stock. And that's why I'm high on Trey Johnson this year. He's gonna be playing in a loaded Big 12 conference, and he can have some really big games against formidable opponents like Houston, Kansas, BYU. There's a ton of talent in the Big 12, and I'm really excited to watch Trey Johnson go up against those teams. Coming in at number 8, it's going to be Igor Demon from BYU. He's a 6'8 guard at 19 years old. He has true playmaking potential, and him just being 6'8 is definitely going to catch scouts' eyes on someone that could be a versatile offensive player at the NBA level. I do think his ability to score the basketball is going to be in question this year, but like Trey Johnson at Texas, he's going to have some great matchups this year where he can really show scouts that he could score the ball at the NBA level, because I do think he's going to play make, he's going to be able to play off ball, and he's going to be able to play some defense. I just want to see him be able to finish at the rim and work on his outside shot. But really, I'm just buying into the 6'8 guard potential that he could show this year for the Cougars. Coming in at number 9 is the first of 2 UNC prospects we're going to talk about, and that is going to be Drake Powell at North Carolina. Powell is extremely athletic. He's got long arms, and I think he's going to be an elite perimeter defender for UNC this year. I think like last year when we were talking about Ryan Dunn, he was always going to be the #1 perimeter defender. What I'm excited about this draft class, like, yeah, Cooper Flagg is probably going to be the top guy at the end of the day, but there's a lot of people that are going to be fighting for those top 3 defender spots. And I think he's going to fit well into this UNC system with guards like Elliot Cadeau and RJ Davis setting him up. And I think he's going to be an impactful 2-way player this year for the Tar Heels. Coming in at my number 10 spot is going to be my big man 1 in this draft, and that is going to be Rocco Zikarsky, who's playing in the NBL for the Brisbane Bullets. He's 7'3", 18 years old, and I don't think he's as clumsy as you would think for somebody at his size and at his age. I can honestly see the potential in his game when I'm watching him that this could translate over to the NBA level. He's going to have an okay feel for the game. He's going to know how to set screens at the NBA level. He's going to be able to get offensive and defensive rebounds, and he's going to be able to block shots. I think he's going to be a for sure lottery pick. Coming in at number 11 is someone playing over in Spain for Real Madrid, and that is going to be the 6'6 wing/forward in Hugo Gonzalez. Gonzalez played well last year in the under-18 European Championship Series because he is a great defender right now. He has the motor, the athleticism, and the on-ball IQ to be someone that you can really put on other teams' best offensive players. He can guard multiple positions. He is great at getting in passing lanes. He averaged 2.7 steals last year, and for that league, that is amazing. The big question mark, though, is his jumper. Will we be able to see it develop this year? That's going to be a big question mark for a lot of these prospects, because whoever can really shoot mid to high 40s on the field, show good free throw mechanics and a good 3-point shot, can really elevate their draft stock. But if it is not a good shooting year, it could crater. Coming in at number 12, he's going to be playing in the ACC. It's going to be Jaleel Bethea, the 6'3 guard for the Miami Hurricanes. It is cool that we're going to have a top Miami player in this draft, something we did see in the first round last year in Keyshawn George, maybe this year again in Jaleel Bethea, who I think is a similar prospect in a way to Trey Johnson. I think he's got a great pull-up jumper right now, and I think he's already able to shoot NBA threes and is going to be a very consistent shooter for the Hurricanes this season. He's definitely going to have to put on some size and some weight, and I do wonder how effective he's going to be off the ball and maybe when his shot isn't going, where's his confidence going to be, but I'm I'm very excited to evaluate Bethea this season. Coming in at number 13, I think he's going to rise a ton throughout the season. I am so excited to watch him, and it's going to be Kasparas Shakushanis at Illinois. He's a 6'5 guard. He's 19 years old. He's coming over from Lithuania. He played amazing last summer for Lithuania in the under 18s. He's a big, multi-skilled guard that could do a bunch of different things well. He could shoot, he could drive to the rim, he could play make, he can operate in the pick and roll, and he is phenomenal at navigating ball screens as an offensive player. He knows where to be on the floor. He is one of the highest basketball IQs in this ranking. He's coming in at number 13 right now. In the mid-season update, he could be in the top 7. And coming in at number 14, I have Ben Serif, who's playing at Ratio Farm over in Germany. He was unreal in the under 18s for Israel. He had multiple 40-point games. He averaged 28 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. And like Yakushanis, this dude can handle the ball very well for his size at 6'6". He knows when to accelerate, he knows when to decelerate, and he knows how to get to the foul line as well. I think he's going to be a great offensive player this year overseas. He's coming in later here. He could be somebody in the midseason update that, like Yakushanis, is in the top 7. Coming in at number 15 is one of my favorite defensive players in this class. We saw him in college last year for the USC Gamecocks, and it's going to be Colin Murray Boyles. Boyles is in a weird spot right now. Like, he's a 6'7 wing, but kind of plays as a big right now, and he could definitely guard multiple positions. I just need to see him prove that he could shoot the basketball, because if he does not have any offensive game outside of just attacking the rim and finishing close inside, he may not be a top 20 player in this draft, but the defense right now is holding him in my top 15. Coming in at number 16 is one of the most polarizing prospects I think this year. Coming over from the NBA Academy, he's gonna be playing for Duke. A 7'1", 18-year-old, it's Kaman Maluach. From what I've seen from Kaman right now in minimal scrimmage footage at Duke, I feel he's got to have to work on his feel for the game, where he needs to be on the floor, when to roll, when to drop back in coverage on the defensive side of the floor, and really be able to adapt to guys that are just as tall as him, stronger than him, quicker than him, because with his potential, he could definitely be an elite shot blocker, but right now I do think he's got a long ways to go, but I do think he has the potential this year to become a higher ranked prospect. I'm just not buying it right now. Coming in at number 17 is my second ranked UNC prospect, and it is going to be Ian Jackson. I kind of like that Ian Jackson is more of a shooting guard rather than a full-on small forward, and I love his aggressiveness. He's always trying to get downhill. He's always trying to score inside. He's just always looking for a way to get a bucket, and he brings high intensity and a high motor on the defensive end of the floor, and him and Drake Powell this year are going to be a joy to watch at UNC, just to see two guys that could be top 10 players in this draft class playing for the UNC Tar Heels, something we haven't seen in a little bit. I guess since like Cole Anthony in 2020 or Kobe White in 2019. Coming in at number 18, I have Boogie Fland at Arkansas. Now, he's going to be playing behind DJ Wagner, but I think at the end of the year, we could realize Boogie Fland is a better guard prospect. I think he can have better court vision, better defensive ability, and a better way at getting to the rim and just finishing inside with his crafty ability inside the paint. Coming in at number 19, it's going to be Dink Pate, who's going to be playing in the G League. He did sign a 2-year deal with the G League Ignite last year. That's why he's got to stay in the G League this year. He's going to be playing for the Mexico City G League team. He's a 6'6 guard that can get downhill. He's one of the best cutters in this draft. He's got a great feel for the game, knowing when to attack the rim, know when to slash off the ball, and has elite defensive potential. I do think we can use that E-word with him, elite defensive potential, if it all goes well for him this year, playing solid competition in the G League. Speaking of phenomenal cutters, Alex Caravan is coming in here at number 20, the second UConn prospect. He's a 6'8 wing, one of the older players here at 22 years old. Could have been a first-round pick last year, decided to stay at UConn to try to three-peat with them, and he is one of the best players at moving without the ball in his hands. He can come off screens, he can attack the rim, can even catch alley-oops. I'm a big fan of Alex Caravan's game, and he is also one of the best shooters in this draft class. Coming in at number 21, you're going to have Hunter Salas at Wake Forest, another player that could have been a first-round pick last year if he decided to declare for the 2024 NBA draft. And I'm a big fan of Salas. Leaving Gonzaga to go to Wake Forest was a great decision for him. Somebody that could score with the ball in his hands, but can also play off ball. He's got great size at 6'5", can play the 1, can play the 2, can guard multiple positions on the defensive side of the floor, and he can also just dribble, pass, shoot, defend, rebound, run the floor. He's just got a great feel for the game. So coming in at number 22 is like a pure potential pick. It was why I was high on like a Daymar last year at UCLA. It's going to be Michael Ruzic playing in Spain. Ruzic is a 6'10 forward. He's 18 years old. He's basically this year's Tijan Salon. They don't really play in a similar way, but he's got not that much experience compared to the rest of these guys under his belt. He's playing in a competitive league, but he can shoot the ball at 6'10, and he's 18. He can also handle the ball a little bit. There's a lot to see in there. We're going to have to see how he develops this year, but if the feel for the game could just hammer in, he could definitely be a first-round pick. I'm also excited to watch Syracuse this year and watch Donnie Freeman, who's coming in at number 23. He got stronger over the year, and I think he got more explosive as well. His mid-range looks great at 6'8", and oh yeah, he can knock down threes as well. If he could become a good three-point shooter for the Orange this year, he could be a top 15 player in this draft. Coming in at number 24, he's going to be playing at Georgia, and that is Asa Newell. Newell played at Montverde last year with Liam McNeely and Cooper Flagg. He's a great athlete. He's a great rim protector and shot blocker right now at 6'9". If he could be this hybrid forward that could play the 4 and the 5 and could eventually space the floor, he could also be a riser throughout this collegiate season as well. I don't think this player is going to be a top 15 draft pick, but I think he could definitely be a first round pick. He's going to be 23 years old. He's a 6'4" wing, so a little bit undersized there, but it's Cam Jones at Marquette. Cam Jones is a really good playmaker, and he's going to be the best player on this Marquette team this season. He's also a phenomenal defender, and he shot 39% from 3 last season. He's going to be one of the better upperclassmen in this draft. Another player I'm excited to watch this year play with Cooper Flagg at Duke is going to be Con Knipple. He was phenomenal in the EYBL circuit, and he's not super thin as well because he can absorb contact inside, and I also think he's going to be an elite three-point shooter for the Duke Blue Devils. Could also have the potential on being a top 10 pick. Coming in at number 27, and I'm a little concerned about him just due to opportunity and playing time. Like, he could be definitely somebody that looks to break out in year 2 in his sophomore year, or could hit the transfer portal, and that's Duke's Isaiah Evans. Because will he have the opportunity there with a bunch of wings and guards and returning players that want to play at a high level for Duke and be in the 2025 draft? But I think Evans has the 3-and-D potential on being a good prospect because he's extremely athletic right now. Coming in at number 28, it's going to be JT Toppin, who could have been a top 40 pick last year. He played very well for New Mexico and now has transferred to Texas Tech. Last year, he averaged 12 points, 9 rebounds, and shot 62% from the field and 34% from 3. Definitely watch him if you like defense. He averaged 1.1 steals and 1.9 blocks last year. Coming in at number 29, it's going to be Kwame Evans, who's a 6'8" wing for the Oregon Ducks. He could score inside, but he's a great defender right now and can guard multiple positions. And the last player in my top 30 is going to be Carter Knox of the Arkansas Razorbacks. Knox is the younger brother of Kevin Knox in the NBA, and he is going to be a great three-point shooter. So that is going to wrap out my top 30. The honorable mentions I have are Darion Reed at Alabama, KJ Lewis at Arizona, Mackenzie Mgbako at Indiana, Jawan Lowe playing at Pittsburgh, and Dame Sarr playing for Barcelona. So that is going to wrap it up for me. Hope you guys did enjoy. Let me know if there's somebody I didn't talk about here in the comments, or maybe let me know if I'm too high on somebody, too low on somebody. Let me know maybe your top 5 or top 10. And if you do enjoy the NBA draft stuff, I would appreciate you dropping a thumbs up, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.